is Sunday, June 22nd. I just checked my work phone and I had an email that came in from the prison. It says, "You have received a new message. The prisoner is Jodi A. Arias." I'm nervous. You do this whole documentary and all I want to know is more about Jodi, and
Jodi's locked in her. Don't roll the tape yet.
I didn't think she was going to respond. Here we go. All right.
We went to the same church in Riverside, and I met him there. Travis was extremely outgoing, and he would welcome everybody at church. He would talk to everybody. He was hilarious. I started dating his friend Chris, and because Travis talked me into it, and we ended up getting married, and Chris and Travis worked together, and we just became close through that.
We both worked for a company called Legal Shield and independent contractors, so we pretty much were our own bosses. The first time I met him was he came to Utah and did a presentation, and he was just funny. Most of the time it was, "Hi, I'm Travis," bam, and he would show you his muscles. That was his favorite. I don't think there was anybody that met Travis that didn't want to be his friend.
When does Jodi come into the picture?
She was at a convention that we were at in 2006.
So he called me and he says, I just met this chick. She's amazing. She's gorgeous. You gotta meet her. I can't wait for you guys to meet.
What was your initial perception?
She's beautiful. She was very kind, very soft-spoken. She was very into Travis. Travis was very into her. So yeah, she seemed great. Travis was looking for someone of similar faith.
He brought her over and introduced her to me, and I was just excited because she was a pretty blonde that, you know, she was all smiles and he was all smiles, and I was excited for him.
So you liked Jodi off the bat?
Mm-hmm.
Travis thought he was gonna marry pretty much every girl he dated.
But she was not Mormon.
She was not.
So did he have pause about that?
He did, but they had talked about his beliefs, and she was like totally like, "Oh, I love that. I can get behind that. Oh, I believe in that too." Things were going well, and maybe around 2 or 3 months, Chris and I started noticing like some weird behaviors with her. She's like obsessed with the idea of like they're getting married. Travis needs to commit to me. He needs to ask me to move to Arizona.
It was about 6 months later that I got to know her a little bit better, and she walked up and she gave me a hug, and I just got the sickest feeling. Second time I've ever met her. Right after that, I turned around, went outside and talked to one of my friends, and she looked at me and she said, "She gives me the creeps." I knew something was off, but I didn't know what. Like even talking about it now makes me sick to my stomach.
At this time, Jodi was living in California, and Travis had moved to Mesa, Arizona a couple years prior for his job. But Jodi and Travis were on and off again all the time, constantly breaking up and getting back together. So who was Jodi? Where did this all start? We talked to her high school classmate who asked we change his name.
Hello?
Hi, how are you?
I went to high school with Jodi. We didn't grow up in the same town, but everybody in our community kind of goes to one high school. And so I had all of my core classes with her. She was always really nice and courteous, pretty smart. I think a little kind of on the ditzy side, you could say. She wasn't like the popular girl by any means, but I think, people she interacted with tend to like her.
Do you think all of you that went to high school with her actually knew the real Jodi?
I don't think we did. No, I don't think anybody. I think some people got glimpses of it. She was dating this guy. For whatever reason, they broke up. and this guy started seeing a new girl. And I think they were at the new girl's house and they were hanging out, and they just happened to look up out the window, and Jody was out there on the street kind of looking in the window at them.
Anytime Travis started dating somebody else, Jody would become their friend. She would add them on MySpace. She would see them at meetings if they were in Legal Shield, and she would become their BFF. You know, it was really weird. She knew he was dating other people. He started dating Lisa, and he really liked Lisa. And he would do all these really cute things for her, and it got very serious. And there were times when he and Lisa were sitting on the couch watching a movie, and she looks up and Jody's in the kitchen. There was another time where she was at the back window. When he was over at Lisa's house, his tires got slashed.
It wasn't just bizarre actions. What people didn't know at the time was how and what Jody was writing. IMs and emails between the two depict the secret they were keeping from family and friends. They were having a sexual relationship that didn't align with Travis's religious beliefs. But most intriguing, Jody's personal journal that becomes a key part of this case.
We both want to get married, and I don't think either of us is anywhere near that if we continue to act immorally.
We have many fights in queue right now.
You just told me I'm cute last time I was persistent about it. Take it as a freaking compliment that I'm way excited to see you.
I have been looking forward to it, but I don't want it to be a source of stress.
You'll be a lot less stressed about it once you just get in your car and get over here and let me de-stress you.
I'm Erin Nelson, and I'm a forensic psychologist.
So you were actually asked to be part of this case. What happened?
Yes, I was contacted during the rebuttal phase of the matter, and I had a scheduling conflict, but was able to refer the case to a colleague. The Arias case had like every extreme sort of scenario all in one matter.
We interviewed Dr. Nelson because this project and documentary is all about studying the mind of Jodi Arias, her psychology from then until now.
I'm not pressuring your trip. I know that'll happen, but I can't stand the wait.
Soon, really soon. Realistically, the 1st of the month.
Isn't that when you go to Cancun?
The 10th?
If you can't watch me saying no worries, I just wanted you to be proud of me.
Record it. I'll be proud of you.
Another reason for you to say to yourself, look at her in front of hundreds of people.
I'll show how proud I am by licking your...
There's no question that their relationship was volatile. I've heard it described as toxic. I certainly agree. People call it passionate and intense. All of those adjectives could describe their relationship.
It would make a steamy romance novel sound like a G-rated Disney movie.
I mean, he liked her a lot, and I think in the beginning he did think of her as someone he could marry. But the more he got to know her and the more she pushed sexually, I think the less he saw her as his forever wife.
I've somehow managed to become his whipping girl, and we're both addicted to it. It's the same pattern as always. He gets pissed, goes off on me, feels bad, we make up. Yes, Travis, you're right, Travis. Whatever you say, Travis. We're crazy being addicted to this cycle.
She decides she's moving to Arizona, and Travis is like, why are you moving to Arizona? We broke up.
Did they ever get back together once she moved to Arizona?
They kept hooking up, but they never were back in a relationship. She moved within like a mile or mile and a half, like very close to his house. Like super weird.
She snuck through his doggy door and would climb into his bed with no clothes on when they were on the outs.
I told him, I said, Travis, I'm afraid we're gonna find you chopped up in her freezer. Like, she scares me. And he starts laughing. He's like, there's no way, Sky.
You don't know her. That's what he said to me. You don't know her like I do. And I was thinking, you don't know her like I do.
She moved to Arizona in June and then moved back to Wairika in April. And Travis immediately becomes a different person. We got like our old Travis back. Like, he's energetic, he's happy, he's funny.
But that didn't last because Travis was never able to fully get rid of Jodi. The two kept coming back for more, knowing what would entice the other, either sex or guilt.
Every time that Travis tried to cut Jodi off completely, she would threaten to kill herself. And she's like, you're all I have, you can't cut me off, I have no one else. And he would feel terrible.
Well, I've decided to go next week to Utah. I'm pretty stoked about it. Plus, I'll have 2 whole days to spend with Ryan. I mentioned my road trip to Travis. He didn't sound all that thrilled for me. As far as I know, he knows nothing of Ryan.
It appeared to me that the journal itself did not begin as with the intentional aspects. It seemed to become more intentional.
Just getting ready for the road mostly. I'll be leaving in a few hours.
It certainly seemed to me that she was creating a narrative or a story.
Travis was tentatively planning to come and see me, but now it's been pushed back to the beginning of June. I don't think it's a good idea that he comes, as much as I miss his company. Sad news, I finally had the conversation with Travis, and it did not go well. Well, even sadder is we agreed to amicably part ways. Well, I've decided to go next week to Utah. I'm pretty stoked about it. Plus, I'll have 2 whole days to spend with Ryan.
We knew she had gone to Utah because my little brother had set her up with Ryan Burns.
Just getting ready for the road mostly. I'll be leaving in a few hours. Travis also began to sweet talk / guilt me that I was making this road trip to Utah to visit friends, etc., when I could instead come out to AZ to see him. He actually made me regret my itinerary for a few moments. He is incredibly persuasive, but I stood my ground.
Jody didn't just drive to Utah. She details several stops along the way in her journal: Redding, Santa Cruz, Pacific Grove, Pasadena. She even visited her ex-boyfriend named Daryl. Jody was really late to Utah, an entire day late, so much so her friends thought something may have happened to her.
Well, we're all at dinner on Wednesday, and I'm like, so Ryan, where's Jody? And he says, I don't know, she was supposed to be here like this afternoon. He called when we were sitting at the table, straight to voicemail. I called her, straight to voicemail. At the briefing, she comes in, but she walked straight for me and gave me a hug. She was so happy, like all airy and, you know, like she was all excited to be here.
And we get this story of, oh, well, we were expecting her, we were nervous, and like we didn't know where she was, but she said that she got lost. Getting to Utah from here, you just get on the 15. Like, you don't get lost.
And that's when we were sitting there and I noticed the Band-Aids on her fingers. So I just asked her, why do you have Band-Aids all over your fingers? And she's like, oh, I'm a bartender. I cut myself all the time. And I just looked at her kind of weird. We started talking about going four-wheeling the next day, and I was like, oh, great. Because of course she's gonna go. Ryan, you know, she's trying to, and she's like, oh, I gotta get back. And I was like, oh, how come?
Wow, Utah was amazing. I so wish I could have stayed longer, as in like a whole month.
Travis was going to Cancun to meet some friends and take some work calls. Jody knew about it, but Travis was taking another girl with him, Mimi. Sky and Chris were already in Cancun, waiting for Travis's arrival.
We kept calling him and he wouldn't answer. And Chris called and left him a voicemail. Said, dude, like, you missed the conference call. And nothing back. And then I believe it was the next day we called again and his voicemail was full. We're like, what is going on? Like, something's wrong.
I do remember hearing a knock, what sounded like a knock at the door.
We called some friends to go over there. And at the same time, Mimi, Michelle, and Michelle's boyfriend had gone over there to see, where's Travis? What's going on? Because he's not answering his phone. So they knock on the door. The door is locked. Then they called somebody, got the garage code. They went inside the house. They go upstairs. They knock on the roommate's door, and he's like, no, Travis went to Mexico. And Mimi's like, no, I'm supposed to go with him tomorrow.
I came out of the shower and went into my room, and at that point, they were searching around the house.
He finds a key to Travis's room.
Zach came into the room.
They opened the door.
And said, we need to get out of the house now.
And that's when they found Travis.
You know how we thought Travis was away. Turned out he was in his bathroom.
Someone called and said, Travis is dead. And we both were kind of like, what?
At the time of this incident, I was a lieutenant in the patrol at Mesa Police Department.
Have you ever publicly talked about this case?
No, I haven't. So I was out on patrol when the call came out. I would describe it as a typical East Valley neighborhood. These things typically don't happen here. I remember we were on the corner across from where the house was, and we had it all secured when I arrived. It was apparent that it was going to be either suspicious death or a homicide.
And all we knew was that a person was found dead inside a home in Mesa. We didn't know all the details.
At that point, did you think it was going to be as big as it ended up becoming?
Not at that time, but it was unique because when I arrived, there was a large crowd around the house.
There's obvious signs of blood on the carpet. As you go in further, we found other signs of a struggle or something in the hallway leading into the master bathroom. And once you go inside the bathroom is when you can see the body of Travis in the shower.
This young, good-looking guy had been stabbed 27 times, that his throat had been slashed, that he had been shot in the head. You just knew that there was something more to it. That started to perk everyone's ears up that this may be bigger than what was first thought.
The initial information right from the get-go was that they had a suspect in mind from all the friends that were there. They believed they knew who did this.
And I looked at him and I said, Jody. He's like, no, she's a little girl. I'm like, it was Jody. I knew it was her because then I knew she was late getting here.
I didn't want it to be Jody. I thought it's probably Jody, but I didn't want it to be Jody because of what that meant for Travis. That this person who he's defended for 2 years, who he loved and took care of and helped, is the person who killed him. Like, it just wasn't real at first. I was sitting there and it hit me that he's dead.
Our detectives were very meticulous of going through every inch of that house, looking for DNA evidence, looking for blood, looking for any type of evidence, and they eventually did find that camera. That camera actually provided key details of when it actually occurred.
That digital camera was found inside the washing machine, and on it were pictures, naked pictures, of Travis Alexander and Jodi Arias. In a matter of minutes, seen in timestamps on the photos from June 4th, they go from being sexual and fun to pictures accidentally taken of Travis bloody in the shower, and there's a blurry picture that appears to be Jodi's pant leg. Meanwhile, Travis's family and friends are learning new info in the investigation every day and putting these pieces together for themselves. But Jodi doesn't know that police have all this evidence. She's still journaling. A lot.
Then he told me. It was about Travis. This is horrendous. The most awful thing I've ever had to deal with. I am in total shock right now. It hasn't fully hit me. This can't really be real. This just can't be happening.
It appeared as if she was giving written practice to back up how she would portray herself with others.
So I've been numb mostly, but last night was extremely hard. I broke down. I hear him singing. I hear him laugh.
This went well. I told so-and-so how sad I was and how horrified and how could this happen. My guess would be that sometimes she said it first and wrote it down, and other times as she was writing, she had a thought that she then used in conversation.
We're getting all this information, like how she shows up in this rental car and how her license plate was upside down and she got pulled over. And so obviously she took her license plates off to go to Travis's house.
Tonight, I went to the police station to give elimination prints. I am so angry about all of this. I can't imagine what his family is feeling.
She bought a gas can. She borrowed 2 gas cans from Daryl that she planned ahead of time. Some people think that her changing her hair color right before had a lot to do with it because people were familiar with her on Travis's street.
Travis was at my bedside this morning. I could feel his presence.
But she butchered Travis, got in her car, drove to Utah, and hooks up with Ryan Burns. Like, it was so bizarre.
I'm for thou shalt not kill, but is it wrong to want the perpetrator to get the needle? Perhaps. Oh, Travis, to be as strong as you are. J.A.
I think that a journal was something that she likely used as a common practice, and it very intentionally became the establishment of an alibi.
I had a dream that 2 people were charged in the case of Travis Alexander. Anyway, keep praying. J.A.
Hillary called me and she said, they got her, they arrested her for killing my brother.
How many times was Travis stabbed?
and I want to remember. And I'm not going to sit here and show you pictures of him after the fact. I don't do that. That's not how I work.
If Travis were here today, he would tell you that it wasn't me.
We had watched her manipulate so many people over the 2 years, and people would believe her. Is she gonna be able to talk her way out of this?
It's your foot, Jody. These are your parents.
This is his bathroom. That is not my foot.
She's really smart in some ways and very dumb in other ways. But she's not dumb enough to think, I'm gonna throw this camera in there and nobody's gonna be able to pull stuff off of it.
I think she deleted them, and then I think she was either going to take it or damage it or do something. But I think when she grabbed all the bedding and put it in the laundry, in the washer, I don't think she knew the camera was in it.
That right there, blood. It's a mixture of yours and his. And that's your palm print. Of your left palm.
I don't have any cuts in my left palm.
She appeared to have this delusional mentality about her, that she was in denial of everything that happened.
There's no doubt in my mind that you were there. There's no doubt in my mind that you did this. None. It's killing me, so
That
don't know why.
seem like there's no reason for it. There's no reason why. There's no reason I would ever want to hurt him. If I was going to ever try to kill somebody, I would use gloves. I have plenty of them.
When they arrested her, she had a gun, she had a knife. She was leaving. She was getting out of town. She was packed, her car was packed, she was ready to go. So if they hadn't arrested her then, she would have been who knows where.
It's at this point Detective Flores leaves the room, leaving Jody alone. This is when things start to get just downright strange.
I didn't hear you breathe. I wonder how am I still here. When Christ was born.
Just based on those types of observations, I would be thinking in a range of the personality disorder diagnoses. The cluster of personality disorders that would start to emerge as relevant contains antisocial personality disorder, borderline personality disorder, histrionic personality disorder, and narcissistic personality disorder.
And so you have like her smiling for the mugshot, and like it was just such a slap in the face. She had zero remorse.
Jody had certainly never seen a jail cell before. It was an opportunity to meet a whole new set of people. Inmates. They knew nothing about her life before or really even the crime leading up, so she could start her narrative from scratch. And that's where she met Donovan, who becomes a key player in this saga.
We really clicked because, one, I had never been in trouble a day in my life before. So I was very nervous and scared. She was coming in with not knowing anybody, and we kind of just, I would be sitting there watching TV and she just would come over and we would start talking. Yeah, she was very nice. Oh my goodness. I mean, spending time with her was great.
Did you hate Travis because of what you had heard?
Yeah, telling me horrible stuff. Yeah, of course. I got to where I was like, how dare, and she was obsessed with him. I mean, she would have done anything for him to stay and like her. We told her, do not do interviews.
I guess that's really all I needed. Sorry. Don't roll the tape yet.
Does that help with her?
Thank you, I appreciate it. I didn't commit a murder. I didn't hurt Travis. I would never hurt Travis. I would never harm him physically. I may have hurt him emotionally, and I'll always regret that. I was on the road that week. I don't know a lot about that, but I did hear that there was quite a struggle. I really don't remember the day at all. I just remember when I got the phone call. I need to be honest in it. The evidence is very compelling, but none of it proves that I committed a murder.
She always had to make sure that she was put together and that she knew what she was going to say, and it had to be, it's like she wanted to be perfect on TV.
It's so rare that you get somebody who's accused of murder who is so open and upfront about talking about it. And so that in itself created a lot of buzz and interest, not just locally, but across the country and around the world.
She never had any remorse. She never cried. But at that time, she was telling stories.
I witnessed Travis being attacked by 2 other individuals.
Who?
I don't know who they were. I couldn't pick them out in a police lineup.
She had talked about the fact that there were some intruders that went into the house, and that this was a case of somebody breaking into the house and just a violent crime that took place.
But they didn't hurt her.
But they didn't hurt her, yes.
2 people took Travis's life, 2 monsters.
You did not shoot Travis?
No, I've never even shot a real gun.
She threw pretty much everything out on the table, hoping something would stick.
It was like my child that tells a lie that everyone knows they're lying and they keep going.
A little bit like a Roomba. When she hits a bump, she just goes another direction.
And that was about to happen again. Story number 3, of course.
Did you kill Travis Alexander on June 4th, 2008?
Yes, I did.
You hear the term media circus. This was a media circus on steroids.
She told me that he wouldn't die. He was like a Terminator.
That's the word she used?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he wouldn't die. He was like the Terminator. That was her exact words. I never thought in a million years it was going to be her admitting that she killed him.
When was the last time you opened this?
It had to be after the second trial. I was juror number 6 on the Jodi Arias trial. Kevin was juror number 13.
Jodi Arias case, juror number 13.
Being a part of it was definitely an interesting portion of my life.
You had no idea what you were going to be in for.
No.
The hype outside the courtroom continues to grow.
Justice for Travis!
I just felt like I needed to be here. I was actually on a death penalty case as a juror.
I was a general assignment reporter.
Live, late-breaking investigative.
During the trial in 2013. It was quite a trial, something I've never experienced before.
I just feel bad for Travis's family, so...
I had never heard the term trial groupie until this trial. These are people who would just show up at the courthouse, outside the courthouse, hoping to get one of the few seats in the gallery that were available each day.
I still wanted to be here. I just cannot believe, even going through security would have been enough for me this morning, but to actually be one of the people that picked, I still can't believe it.
All of a sudden I'm, this celebrity, and I can't even walk through these people, and it's not really celebrity. I mean, my friend was murdered.
It was pretty bananas. It was kind of like the Super Bowl of court.
This was a very violent attack. There was a stab to the heart area. His throat was slit from ear to ear.
Jodi Arias killed Travis Alexander. There is no question about it. The $1 million question is what would have forced her to do it. It was Travis's continual abuse.
This is not a case of whodunit. The person who done it, the person who committed this killing, sits in court today. It's the defendant, Jodi Ann Arias.
Juan Martinez wasted no time in showing us autopsy photos, showing us crime scene photos, showing us nudity. It was really a hammer over the head. Is now you have to carry the weight of the entirety of this trial from the early moments on.
I went immediately into thinking we are in deep trouble here.
Juan Martinez would spend months laying out the state's case, with many witnesses taking the stand, detailing Jody's egregious behaviors, her jealous motive, her salacious texts and audio recordings with Travis, and the gruesome crime itself. But as he worked to expose her downfalls, Juan Martinez became just as much a character in this as Jody, catapulting this trial even further into the national spotlight.
Even the defense attorneys played up to the camera a little bit, but nothing like Juan Martinez.
You don't know where you met her the second time. That's what you're telling me, right?
I know approximately.
Approximately means you don't know, right?
If that makes you happy.
Nothing here is to make the prosecutor happy. You understand that? Why don't you want to answer my question?
When we were in deliberations, I said, I would never want to be on the stand and have him question me.
Then you had the defense, where Kirk Nurmi brought in witnesses to paint the picture Jody was abused by Travis Alexander. He even called Daryl Brewer to the stand, Jody's ex-boyfriend, who she visited and borrowed gas cans from for her road trip.
Do you know this lady here in the blue shirt?
Yes.
How do you know her?
I know Jody because we were in love.
During that time period, did Jody ever act jealous at all?
Not that I saw.
Okay. Did you ever notice her being violent or having a violent temper?
Never.
They start to get into this, was she abused defense. Did you believe that at all?
Yes, personally, when it comes to the verbal abuse, there's text messaging that happened in email. So the leap for in-person verbal abuse is not a stretch for me.
You do solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Yes, I do. Please be seated.
Did you kill Travis Alexander on June 4th, 2008?
Yes, I did.
Why?
The simple answer is that he attacked me, and I defended myself.
I thought she'd stick with the two intruders, but I think somebody had to have told her at some point, you need to try again, like this isn't working.
Well, after the gun went off, I thought, crap, because now he's really going to be pissed. I didn't know that I shot him. I thought I shot a hole in the wall or something.
Do you remember stabbing Travis Alexander?
I have no memory of stabbing him.
So it appears then that your memory becomes faulty immediately upon you shooting him.
Yeah, things get very foggy from there. It's confusing. There is like a huge gap. Like, I don't know if I blacked out or what. I didn't want anyone to know that that had happened or that I did it.
Were you crying when you were stabbing him?
I don't remember.
How about when you cut his throat? Were you crying then?
I don't know.
You're the one that did this, right?
Yes.
You do not stay and stab somebody 27 times and cut their throat to escape someone.
This thing has blown up.
Oh, yeah, and she loved it. Oh, she loved it. Because people were writing her from all over, even out of the country.
What factors influence your having a memory problem?
Usually when men like you are screaming at me or grilling me, or someone like Travis doing the same.
She loved playing the role, so it was kind of like a game.
She was very flirtatious. She would smile and look at people in the gallery and look at the attorneys, and she played that up as best she could. I remember sitting in the courtroom one day, and I texted my wife, I think Jody looked at me. And my wife, who has a good sense of humor, texted me back, good luck with that. She was on the stand for 18 days. That's a long time to be on the stand. I don't think you can do yourself any good for being on the stand for 18 days.
Fear, love, sex, lies, and dirty little secrets played a prominent role in the relationship that Jodi Arias shared with Travis Alexander. Somebody was not gonna make it out alive. It's not even about whether or not you like Jodi Arias. 9 days out of 10, I don't like Jodi Arias.
That was a joke as we went into deliberations of, I don't like Jodi. And that kind of, that was amazing that he said that.
She stabbed him first. He wasn't dying quick enough. And she was afraid he was going to live. As he stumbles away, tries to get away, she chases him down. Then she slits his throat and then for good measure shoots him in the face. She may cry now. The jury instructions have told you that sympathy is not to be considered.
Something that was very unique in this case was that your jury asked a lot of questions of the judge.
Boy, did we ever.
They asked so many questions, and it made you think, wait, do they actually believe her story? Is there some additional sympathy going on here that maybe they're feeling like maybe she was abused?
I was wondering, do they believe her lies? Do they believe that he hit her? Do they believe he abused her? None of them would look at us. And so I remember being very nervous because when they walked in, not one of the jurors that I remember would even look at us.
So were you thinking?
I was thinking they feel bad.
Like this could be?
Yeah, this could be really bad.
Was there a point in time where you're thinking, I don't think she did this?
When we went into the deliberation room, we elected a jury foreman. He said, let's just take a straw vote and see how everybody feels. I believe that we were about 7-3. 7 for guilty and 3 that were a little bit iffy, and they were concerned about abuse. And one of my comments to them was, she always had the opportunity to pick up the phone and report it. And she never did that.
The defense had multiple experts testify about several psychological aspects of Jodi. One of them said Jodi was a victim of domestic violence, but she came under fire after admitting she only interviewed Jodi and no one else in her life.
There was no indication of physical violence between the two of them. So she just basically interviewed Jodi and took her story. And what do we know about Jodi? She makes up stories.
Another psychologist said Jodi had acute stress, which led to PTSD, which then led to amnesia, claiming she could not remember committing this crime at all.
So what if she has PTSD? Like, how is that relevant? This wasn't an issue of, I was psychotic.
We talked about the timing from the camera, taking the pictures of him when he was in the shower, as to then when she actually slit his throat. And filling up the gas cans in Salt Lake. Did she have enough time to get a gun? Did he have a gun? Hey, here's another lie.
The state called their own psychologists to try and discredit everything the defense had presented about Jodi's mindset. So you had these two wildly different psychological takes that the jury was going to have to try and sort out.
Dr. DeMarte diagnosed borderline personality disorder. Stalking or persistent pursuit type of behaviors were evident.
One of the interesting things we did as a group is we put everything on Post-it notes, and we littered the room and the table with every observation and piece of evidence that people saw along the way.
How many Post-its do you think you put in the room?
Probably over 100.
There's too many versions, there's too many things, there's too much evidence. We went home to sleep on it and make sure that that's the decision we wanted to do.
The longer the jury is out, that's usually in the favor of the defendant, where they're either deadlocked or they can't agree.
It was really unnerving because we're like, is it good they're staying in there a long time? Is it bad?
The next morning, everybody came in and said, we're ready to go, and told the judge that we had a decision.
State of Arizona versus Jodi Ann Arias, verdict, count 1. We, the jury, duly impaneled and sworn, in the above entitled action, upon our oaths, do find the defendant as to count 1, first-degree murder, guilty.
I'm relieved, I'm shaking. I am just so glad that the jury got this verdict right.
We could see it from the windows. It was just a sea of people and a sea of blue in support of Travis.
Justice has been done, and the next person won't go and do that same thing.
I remember when we walked out, it just erupted. Like, it was insane.
It was a little bit satisfactory to say, okay, we came here, we did our job, and there's a unanimous choice here.
And then everything changed.
Yeah.
I thought the hardest part is behind us. Little did we know, it was not.
They came back pretty quick with the guilty verdict for the murder conviction, but the whole death penalty, it's very different.
I remember walking out my back door, screaming, crying.
To this day, I can hardly believe I was capable of such violence, but I know that I was.
When you have a capital case and death penalties on the line, there's almost this second mini trial to prove why they should or shouldn't be put to death. During this sentencing phase, the victim's family and the defendant can address the court in impact statements. Travis's family did, so did Jody.
Our minds are permanently stained with the images of our poor brother's throat slit from ear to ear. I never meant to cause them so much pain.
Travis used to write out his day on a flashcard. The last one he wrote said to call Stephen. I never got that call.
When Stephen said he read on Travis's 3x5 card that it said call Stephen and that he never got that call, I know that's because of me.
I don't want to have to see my brother's murderer anymore.
Stephen said he doesn't want to look at his brother's murderer anymore. If I get life, he won't have to.
The night before we started deliberating, I was home alone, and I was out on the patio, and it must have been 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, just saying prayers. And that was the feeling that I had, is it needs to be the death penalty. And is that the right decision? That was a messy room that day. The tears came up and the arguments came out. But I think the other part was that the jurors felt that she was a young girl. And the other was, I think maybe that she was abused. And, that she had a reason. And there was no changing. There was absolutely no changing.
State of Arizona versus Jodi Ann Arias, sentencing verdict. We, the jury, duly impaneled and sworn in the above entitled action upon our oaths, unanimously find, having considered all of the facts and circumstances, no unanimous agreement. Signed, foreperson.
It is ordered declaring a mistrial as to the penalty phase.
What were you personally feeling?
Failure. Yeah. It was one that we've worked so hard, and we've got to be able to do this. And that's what she needed. She took his life violently. She was horrible, lied about it. And it was like, that's what it has to be.
Did you believe Jodi should die?
Yeah, and I still do. But it is disappointing when you work so hard for an outcome and it doesn't come to fruition.
It was what it was. And it took me a long time to say it was what it was, because I was very adamant that it was the death penalty.
The first round, we ended up with a hung jury, because in Arizona, you're allowed to retry the penalty phase. So we go again, and it's months of testimony. So his family has to go through this all over again. And then that time, it came back 11-1 for the death penalty, which meant the second round that she would, if it wasn't unanimous, that she would automatically get life in prison. She turned to us after she was sentenced, and she looked at all of us and said, "He was alive when I slit his throat."
Makes me wonder why she chose to add that detail at that point.
Why do you think it was?
I think it was to be hurtful and shocking.
She knows exactly what she was doing. Like, she's incredibly evil.
It consumed my life. I mean, it completely consumed my life. A lot of people had to go through a lot of therapy after this trial because it was so much.
Grew a stress beard as a lot of this was just kind of internalizing what was going on.
Wine, a lot of wine. There were a lot of us that talked about how much wine we drank during that trial. I mean, it was a part of history, you know, I mean, it was news all over.
Everyone always wants to know the killer's motive with Jodi, and it might be kind of obvious, until I heard this for the first time.
I can't ignore the big fight that they got in on the 26th because everything happens within a couple days of that fight.
It is Sunday, June 22nd. I just checked my work phone and I had an email that came in from the prison. It says, "You have received a new message. The prisoner is Jodi A. Arias."
I wanted to visit Jodi in prison. That was the goal. I want to get a feel for her one-on-one. But her appeals team shut down any and all conversation or involvement. So last-ditch effort, I decided to email her personally, thinking she won't respond. Months later, I got this.
Hi, Brianna. Thanks for reaching out to me. I would love for you to do a story on my art and what I have done with my time at Perryville, but my lawyers are completely against my participation with you at this time. And I don't mean just you, of course, but in general. They're taking a cautious approach to things, as lawyers are known to do, and have advised me accordingly. Also, thank you for reading my Substack. I try to share exclusive content, and I'm always trying to think of what I can share with readers that they can't find out elsewhere. I'm sorry I'm unable to chat with you about things. I'll save your phone number in case anything changes. Thanks again for thinking of me. Take care, Jodi.
What Jodi's referring to in her message to me, she runs a blog from prison called Just Jodi. She's so detailed, I know so much about her life now. Like she has a pet pigeon named April, and she knows how AI and updated technology works. She also believes she still has knowledge and wisdom to share with the world.
I identify as a straight woman, if I'm putting a label on it. I had a few bi-curious moments in my youth. To appropriate Katy Perry refrain, let's just say I kissed a girl someone asked, "Jodi, when are you going to get a girlfriend?" 7 years ago, I would have enough to kill. A lot of things have almost begun, but not in a perpetual state of not yet.
To me, a lot of it sounded so still, so self-absorbed. I mean, and so she's almost trying to be professorial with the world.
The juicy lie that I flirt with prison guards. They're called officers by friendliness with flirtation. I've had a hell of a time recently. My tablet wiped out. I'm sorry I left you hanging. It's been rough.
It's disturbing. I don't know how people see that as okay. For someone who's destroyed so many lives to be able to continue to influence others.
She does not deserve the freedoms that she has. I mean, what freedom does Travis have? And really, like, what prison has she put all of his family and friends in?
Jodi is very smart, and she's very good at what she does.
So you don't think she was delusional?
No, absolutely not.
You think she was what?
She played a very good role. She was a good actress. She fooled us all.
Jodi is a lot of things. There is so much that makes up who she is. But Dr. Aaron Nelson says there is one psychological diagnosis that appears to rise above the rest and explains everything.
Borderline personality disorder. She unequivocally had a complete disregard for the life of Travis Alexander, for the Alexander family.
So that makes her a sociopath?
The shoe fits.
I think in the beginning, she totally knew every lie, like she knew she was lying. But with all liars, over time, as they tell themselves over and over and over again, it becomes their reality.
I think she would embrace and immerse in whatever character or whatever version she was in, and she could do that with the depth that, you know, a great actor takes on the character that they're representing.
I think Kirk Normey said it the best, that Jodi has a line of tragedy behind her.
In 2016, Kirk Nurmi was disbarred after writing a tell-all book about representing Jodi, violating the attorney-client privilege. He is now a speaker, TV personality, and stand-up comedian.
I mean, her attorney's not an attorney. The prosecutor's not an attorney. There's a lot of stuff that has happened, so it worries me.
There were always rumors of legal misconduct, that they were kind of doing things that they shouldn't be doing, rumors of Juan Martinez having an affair with a member of the media.
In 2020, Juan Martinez was disbarred for prosecutorial misconduct, including allegations he leaked information to a blogger during the murder trial, lied to investigators about having a sexual relationship with that blogger, and communicated with a dismissed juror. He was also fired from the Maricopa County Attorney's Office after multiple sexual harassment allegations.
That's so scary because it was one of the jurors. I think it's so sad because I think that Juan's attitude, his approach to cases was, he just grabbed him by the teeth and just shook him.
I still have days where and I didn't think I'd get emotional, but where I miss him so much. Like, if I could just call him and talk to him, and things that are happening, and like everybody that's his age has families, and his children would be in grade school, junior high, and he didn't get to have any of that.
I miss my friend. Like, I've definitely needed Travis over the years. My two older boys have amazing memories with him, but only up until, they were like 5 and 4. And I think of what a great impact he could have been on their lives.
From a psychological standpoint, what are you thinking the motive is?
Abandonment, betrayal, jealousy,
All of it.
all of it.
When he invited that other gal to go to Cancun, that was it with her. That was the straw that broke the camel's back.
If she couldn't have him, no one could. She wanted to make sure she had one last time with him, and then no one else. She wanted to make sure she was the last.
What I don't have a good answer to is, why that day in June? What was the catalyst right now, this day?
I can't ignore the big fight that they got in on the 26th, because everything after that, everything goes into play. Like, that's when she plans her trip to meet Ryan. That's when she contacts Daryl for gas cans. That's when she changes her hair. She rents the car. She steals the gun. Everything happens within a couple days of that fight, of where she's exposed. He says, I know exactly who you are. You're the worst thing that's ever happened to me. She didn't want to incriminate herself by putting it in writing. And so that had to have something to do with it. But something about that fight, something about what she did, and that he knew, and that he was going to tell people who she really was, like oh my gosh, this is who Jodi actually is. That's when everything went into effect.
What is she talking about?
I have no idea.
Does anybody know?
No. She said she was going to tell him everything over the phone, but she wouldn't put anything in writing that would incriminate herself.
Do you know if she ever told Travis anything?
I have no idea.
Only she knows what happened in that exact moment was going on in her heart and mind. And frankly, she might have convinced herself of a million different versions of that.
To me, I think she got the fame she wanted, I'm being honest. I think she's in there and she's loving it because everybody's gonna know Jodi Arias.
You'll never kind of truly know who Jodi Arias is. She's done a very good job of trying to maintain her own ideal of who she is.